So this is trouble. We'll see how can we lessen the trouble, and second thing, what are the parts that are required to be studied in IELTS speaking. We'll see some examples today as well, and also see some techniques which are not available anywhere online. You'll see by the end that yes, I told you the truth, not anything lying or any trick to keep you in the video. You will learn a lot from this. So see, let's start with the structure of IELTS speaking in short. If you have not seen the introductory video of IELTS, please go to the video. I'll put the link in the description. It'll give you about every module which you need to understand in IELTS. Not just speaking, all of them, and basic structure within like 30 to 40 minutes. That will help you to give an introduction of everything, right? Now let's begin with the structure only for speaking a little bit in detail rather than just introductory part, okay? Now IELTS speaking comes on a different day than in all other exams. Let me just tell you what happens in IELTS. We have listening, reading, writing, and speaking, all the 4 modules. These 3 are taken on a day. Let's say 20th of some month. Then this will be taken either anything between 15th to 25th. Anything between this, but not on the same day. It will be on, let's say, 21 or 16 or anything between that. You get my point, right? And in order to make you sure that you know this, they'll write you a mail as well as a message on your phone, not on your WhatsApp, because WhatsApp can be related to internet. So they write you a mail and a message, give you the venue, that means the place that you're going to write your exam, the time, as well as time means and the date itself. So time means at exact what hour, what hour, day, a minute of the moment of the day you have to be present in the place, right? Now this is how IELTS speaking has been organized in the module structure, right? Now let me tell you how long it takes for the exam to be over, literally how the exam been taken. They say that it takes 11 to 14 minutes for the exam overall speaking, but I would say it takes an hour. You know why? Because there are 20 people waiting in a queue when you go to the IELTS exam. So you have to wait at least half an hour when your chance comes for speaking. You'll go into a room, and this is a kind of a semi-formal interview kind of structure. A person will be sitting in a room and he or she will be asking you question. Could be a person from a native speaker, English speaking country, 8 English speaking countries, or could be a person from your same country we are writing IELTS. The person will greet you, and then they start with part 1 of the speaking. So yeah, it could take an hour, but conceptually speaking, when the test starts, it'll take you 11 to 14 minutes total. Now, how is this time divided in parts? Let me just go through all of that. IELTS speaking is divided in 3 different parts. Each part has types of question, and also time set in them. So let's start with part 1. Part 1 consists of questions which are introductory. Remember, it's not intro, but introductory question. By introductory, I mean they will be all about you. For example, so remember this you or your is the key here. And they generally last for not more than 4 to 5 minutes is the time for this thing. 4 to 5 minutes, and you're supposed to speak around 3 to 4 sentences, right? So somebody, if they ask you questions like, what is your favorite fruit? So you would answer not like directly, my favorite fruit is apple. You'll say, my favorite fruit is apple, and the reason could be because I like the taste, I like the texture as well. And I tried it once when I was a kid and I couldn't get a hang of it. So basically longer answer, right? Not a single word answer or single sentence answer. Of course, I'll tell you the tricks to how to get the answers long, but for now, let's try to understand the structure. In here, this will be a card task. That means they will provide you a card and you're supposed to speak on that card. You will get 1 minute to prepare and 2 minutes to speak. So this will be your speaking time. And this won't be a conversation. Earlier was a conversation in part 1. Somebody asking you a question and you giving reply. So this was supposed to be a conversation. This is supposed to be a monologue. Now monologue, I mean that they say, oh, this is your card, you have 1 minute, please prepare, we'll give you a paper and a pencil, take notes as much as you want within 1 minute and you can speak. So that will be around 2 minutes of speaking continuously. Sometimes they extend it a little bit, 5 minutes, 5 seconds, 10 seconds here and there. So the total time for this task is 3 to 4 minutes. Remember, this is 4 to 5 minutes. And the part 3 is again a follow-up type. So basically, they will ask questions from this card, whatever the topic is. The topic could be something like, describe a seminar you have attended recently. So you have to describe 2 people from the same family you know. Or describe a picnic you have been recently. Or could be describe an article which you find interesting in a newspaper. So whatever question is, your follow-up question will be connected to that topic. For example, it could be how famous it is in your country to read newspapers, right? And this would last for 4 to 5 minutes. The number of questions will be similar, same here, like 7 to 8 questions will be asked, and you're supposed to speak a little bit longer than the first part. Okay, it's not the same length. So instead of 3 to 4 sentences, you speak 4 to 5 sentences. Okay, little bit in length. The only difference is here you were the main topic. Here general questions will be asked, like why is this famous in your country, or what is the reason for this thing, or whatever. So general question. Don't worry, I'll show you the questions once. So this will also be a conversation, not a monologue. So this is how the whole IELTS speaking has been organized. Now I'll take you to the types of question you might get in part 1, part 2, part 3 on the other screen, that is on the PPT screen. Do you like studying? Well, I do like studying per se, but not the way I used to love it when I was in school. So at that time it used to be a compulsion that I have to study, and eventually I liked it, but now I don't really. I like to work, I like to create new things. I like to teach right now instead of studying. Sometimes it involves studying. I mean, when you don't know the topic, you have to get into deeper and then you study, but not really the way I used to do that earlier. Wonderful. We are back now. You understood what kind of question you need to answer, and I also give some demo answers over there. So let's go through now what are the criteria that are important. Remember, please, most of the people online or most books don't talk about criteria as they consider them not important. In my eyes, and any teacher who understands IELTS, criteria are the most important thing to understand, because it's like rules. Okay, these are the rules with which they will be guiding you. They were testing your score. If you are the person who don't understand criteria, you'll be struggling where to work on. For example, if you play football and you know if you score more goals than the other person, you'll win. But I know the criteria criterion, and you don't know that, right? You have to know that. So I know how to win. You have no idea how to win, at least. So that's why we need to know the criteria, and there are 4 or total. So let's talk about these 4 criteria. By the way, criteria is plural, singular is criterion. Okay, let's start with the number 1. Number 1 is called coherence and fluency. Coherence and fluency is the first one. Let's discuss coherence first, and then we'll discuss the fluency part. What happens in coherence is how structured your speech is. Is it making sense to other person who is listening? Is it easy to understand? That is what we call a coherent speech. Let me give an example so that you understand from the context. So let's say there's a hotel being started recently close to my place, and I'm giving a speech on the hotel. So what will I say? There's a hotel that is just opened recently. It is close to my place. They want to be famous, so they're throwing a party. Okay, simple. Now I just threw information after information. Remember, this was just information. This was not a proper speech with a lot of connection in there. So what I need to do is create a proper speech with structure. Now look at the difference, okay? There's a new restaurant or a hotel new opened close to my place, and as they want to be famous, they are throwing a party. They might become popular from that. Done. So you understand the whole speech, how different it was from the earlier one. I'm just giving a simple example to make you what coherence is. Okay. Now we understand what is the meaning of the next one, that is fluency. Fluency is something that what is your pace of speaking? How easy it is for you to speak, not easy to understand, how easy it is for you to speak in that language, right? Without any hums or any stopping in the middle, right? Or hours. You're not thinking for a long, you're not taking long pauses to think. That's what important is. That is fluency. Are you having intonation in your speech? And all those things count in fluency. So it's a big deal. And in my opinion, fluency is the biggest factor in your IELTS speaking. It's fine if you have a little bit lesser vocabulary, but if fluency is good, you will get better score for sure. Remember that. Work on this rather than other things. Okay? Wonderful. We'll look at the next one. The next one is Lexical Resource. Let's see the next one. Lexical Resource. Now, lexical resources means what kind of... Now, lexical resource itself consists of 3 different things. I'll take care of them here just now. Wait a second. Lexical resource has 3 things in them. Number 1 is what is the quality of vocabulary you have. So vocabulary quality. I'll discuss what is the quality means. Second thing, are you using synonyms? And finally, are you using appropriately? Not anywhere, everywhere. Let's see all of the 3 things together and understand what is the meaning of this. Without this, you cannot score well in the part of lexical resource. Vocabulary quality, it comes from the level. So you have to understand what is A1, A2, B1, B2, C1 and C2. These are CEFR system. These are grades created by CEFR. CEFR is Common European framework for reference of languages, and the higher the level, the fluent the language. So let's say a simple word like man or woman could lie between A1 and A2, but a higher fundamentally might be here anywhere. Basically might be B1 or B2 level. So the higher quality word you use, the better you get. Now, how to recognize what level it is? First of all, go to Google and search Cambridge Dictionary. Okay, when you search Cambridge Dictionary, you search any word in the dictionary. For the first link will be Cambridge Dictionary. You search any word. When you search any word, below that you will find anything written out of these, and you can recognize what is the level of the words. Okay, that will help you to recognize what words you're using every day. Record yourself, find out how many words you're using, which words you're using. And if you want a list of words which are essential for your speaking, don't worry, I'm starting another video in which you will get all the essential words you require for IELTS. But not here, because if I try to do it here, it will take a long time for us to finish the video, and I don't want that. This is already going to be 1 hour video, maybe something like that. 1 hour class will be enough for sure. So the vocabulary will be covered in different video completely, and there are around 1200 words which according to me are important. Okay, so remember that. Please follow that this channel, and you will get to understand what videos we need for vocabulary. Right, that was just quality. Let's talk. I think I shouldn't have erased it. Second comes synonym. Synonym means you cannot use one word again and again. You know, for example, I just gave an example, basically. Next time when you're using basically, instead of use fundamentally, instead of that you use normally or generally, whatever, but don't use same words again and again. Even for a word like child, you say kids. When using man and a woman again and again, say the other gender. Please use synonyms that shows that you know words, right? That is synonym part. And number 3, appropriate usage. I'll explain you in the example. See, if you think about it, you have a lot of synonyms. For example, the meaning of good could be pleasant, could be blessed. All are the meaning of good. But when do we use good, when do we use pleasant, when do we use blessed, is completely different. Right? So for an example, you are about to have an accident and you were saved. You won't use good, you would use blessed. You would say, oh, I feel blessed because I was saved. Not I feel good. Right? You wake up in the early morning, you feel good, probably. Right? And after a long journey and you come home, you feel pleasant. Or somebody helps you with something, you feel pleasant. So using appropriately all the vocabulary is another part, that is third one for lexical resource. You cannot think that I know vocabulary, that means I have good chances of getting good score in this criterion. Okay, remember that, please. Now comes number 3. Number 3 is grammar or grammatical range and accuracy. What is the meaning of this grammatical range and accuracy? Both. First of all, your grammar is supposed to be as correct as possible. You cannot have incorrect grammar. What do I mean by that? Let me just give you an example. Okay, these two words are important for us, range and accuracy. Think about it. When I say my name are XYZ, it's incorrect because we know it's here. So this is accuracy. You used incorrect grammar. Right? Now thinking about it, think about the range we have. Have you ever thought about that you use only simple sentences? You don't use complex and compound sentences. You don't use all the tenses properly. You don't even combine tenses like future, present and all those stuff. What then? What's going to happen? You're going to have trouble with your own speech. I mean, with your own grammatical range here. So both things are important. Accuracy and range. Okay? Wonderful. We'll see, there will be a different video for grammar. These two things will have a different video for them. You'll have a lot of the vocabulary, and whatever grammar rules we need to discuss, we'll be discussing that video. Okay? Reaching there, number 4. Number 4 is your pronunciation. Pronunciation is important because it shows how good you understand the native English and how you say it out loud, right? Because some people might not be able to understand if your pronunciation is incorrect. Don't please mess it up with accents. Accents are different thing. It's not accent here we are discussing here. It's the pronunciation. Pronunciation is how do you pronounce each word. Let's say for example, word like this. Most of you might be saying photography. It's incorrect. You have to say photography. Right? Because TO is emphasized. Right? Recognize which part is of the whole word or the whole sentence has been stressed. You cannot understand this thing without understanding English as a language. English is a stress-timed language. Remember that. Stress-timed language means each syllable has no set time. It can be stress, it can be less. So it's not time set here. Only thing is stress set. So you might think, what does it mean? Go through it, search what is English as stress-timed language. Okay? And each word has a word stress middle or somewhere else. So that you have to understand the pronunciation. And these 4 are your criteria for understanding how speaking has been organized or how speaking takes place in your part. Okay? Remember that without these you cannot score well, right? So understanding these was first thing that you should do while going through speaking, and I think we did. If any doubt, please write in the comments. Don't worry, there's a lot coming still. Now comes thing which most of you might have, and it is fear of speaking. Now, what is this fear? It could be anything. See, all of us has different experience. You could have stayed in a school where not many activities have been organized, or could be a family of very calm people. They don't talk much. I'm not saying they're wrong, but yeah, that's fine. And or you could be have friends who are also very calm, they don't talk much, or you are not encouraged to speak more, right? So it could be a reason that you don't speak much and you don't practice that skill. So these could all reach to fear, and none was your mistake. Right? How to recognize this? First of all, see, are you using a lot of Second thing, whenever someone better than you, like higher in studies or qualification or age, comes in front of you and you stumble, or somebody testing you, then you stumble, you have fear. How to get it out? In order to understand, now, in order to get out of this, simple, first of all, let's do an exercise. Or let's understand how IELTS speaking has been organized when you go in the room. When you go in the room, the first thing IELTS examiner will do is ask your name. Then they will ask for your passport. And they will ask you to sit them. It takes almost around 5 to 15 seconds. And then they ask you, can we start recording the whole test, the whole 3 parts? That is the starting of exam. Before that, these things are not graded. Remember that. And this is the perfect time you to get out of your fear. This is what I ask students, and they do it well and they understand it. What I mean by that, when they ask your name, it's fine to fumble some things. It's fine. You say, my name is this or my name is that, and you fumble a bit. Okay? But once you come up after that, you start getting a little bit less stress on passport. They ask you, what is your passport? Instead of speaking, let's say, oh, I have it here. There you go. Now keep saying to yourself, I'm fine, I'm fine. It's like 5 to 10 second rule. You don't worry much then. Okay? Then comes sitting part. Once you sit there, start feeling when you're sitting, nothing can be done now. I will be all fine. By this point, you will have no worries at all. Okay? And you will be clear what you need to do. So these 3 steps will help you to get out of all the fear you have. You say to yourself, I cannot do anything now. Whatever question come to me, I'll answer. This is the only thing I have, it has worked for me. Otherwise, changing your fear has to change everything, or get into new things in practice. That will take a lot of time. If you have that, wonderful. If don't, try this technique. It might work for you. Okay? Now let's understand each part and try to get some techniques to get clear about one part and another. So first I'll go through part 1. In part 1 of speaking, you are asked introductory questions. That means they will be asking about you. And you're supposed to speak around 3 to 4 sentences, not much. How would you answer such question where you know the answer could be given in 1 sentence or 1 word even? For example, what is your favorite fruit? You're going to be like, what should I speak now? I cannot speak more than that. In that case, or sometimes we are stuck with one kind of rhythm. Somebody asks you, what's your favorite fruit? And you say, my favorite fruit is this because of this reason. Somebody asks you, what is your favorite vehicle? And you say, my favorite vehicle is this. And we keep giving reasons. Remember that. Keeping giving reasons will be like, you don't know anything apart from giving reasons to your answer. If they ask you why in the end, it's understandable. But keeping reasons all the time with you, it's not the right thing. It will be like a monotone speaking, conversation. If I ask you, how are you doing? I'm doing great because of this, right? So what we have to do is figure out a method. Okay, the method says that we need to have more than 2 things. The second thing is you add detail to your answer, or you connect time, that is past or future, to your answer. I'll explain everything. I'll go through one of them. Each of them with answering. So for example, let's say this one. What is your favorite fruit? I'll say my favorite fruit is pineapple, and the reason is I love the taste, especially the bitter and sour taste in it. I've tried it once and I loved it. I cannot go away from it. Details. Instead of this, I could give answer for detail. For example, my favorite fruit is pineapple and I cannot stay away from it at least twice a week I need it. Sometimes I drink juice, or sometimes just slice it off and eat it. I know it's very hard to peel it, but who cares? I love it, I do it. There you go. I didn't give it any reason why I love it, right? I just love it. Past or future, I used to like it earlier. I mean, the fruit, whatever I say. Used to like pineapple earlier, but because of too much, every week, I get bored of it. So now I like apples, and they have health reason as well. So why not? There you go. Sometimes we combine things. For example, we add reasons and past and future. I used to like it for this reason, but I stopped it for other reason, and I'm starting to like other things for this reason. Sometimes we combine this. We talk about past with details. So these three things should be incorporated. I'm not saying you use all of them at a time, but use different things at different moment, right? If you keep giving reasons, you will be in trouble later. It'll sound really boring, okay? So keep changing that for all the answers you have. Wonderful. So you understand how part 1 is being organized, how you can answer such things. Now comes weird questions in part 1 that you might find a little bit difficult to answer. What I mean by difficult to answer is, who is your favorite writer? In that case, you are stuck. You feel that, what will I answer in such questions when I have no idea who? I don't even read books, right? What will you do in this situation? Give a false name? Yeah, you're 50% right, but instead of false name, why don't you give a real name but false identity? For example, use your family in that case. Like, my favorite writer is my mom, and because she is not famous worldwide, but in my city she's pretty famous. Last time she sold around 1,000 books a week, and my favorite book from mom is this. And you describe your mom. I know pretty sure about how to describe your mom, and you can make it up like how she writes book at night or day, anything. So use your family when you're stuck with questions. Or any question comes up with, what is your favorite book or a novel? What was the last novel you read? Make it up that my mom wrote a book. It's not famous, but I read it like this, and it is about this. Done. Simply understand that you can make it up story, but remember, don't make fake stories based on real people. Only family can be considered in this because they don't know, they cannot search it. You have to make it clear it's not famous online, only in my city or only in my area. Right? Wonderful. That is one thing you have to understand. Great. So this kind of questions can be tackled by this way. One more thing, you can ask for extra time when you are stuck or you don't understand the question, but remember, you cannot pass. How to do that? You say, interesting question. Remember with that tone, okay? Interesting question. I never thought about it. Can I get few seconds? That is fine, of course, because you show that you can ask for time in English with proper sentences. That is also a skill of speaking. And they'll give you, yes, fine, take 3 to 5 seconds and then speak. Right? So what if you're out of sentence? You can say, I think I need to think about it. Just give me a few seconds and done. Or another way, or when you're stuck, or apart from that, you can do one more thing. You can think while you're speaking simple sentences. For example, you say, my favorite fruit is apple. That takes 5 seconds to speak this sentence itself. In that meanwhile, you can think of the next sentence. So when you're speaking simple sentences, think of the next sentence. For example, my favorite fruit is apple, and I was thinking the reasons or the details, or when did I start eating, and when was the last time I ate the apple. So this is how you think when you are stuck. I told you how to get content. I told you what kind of question you might be imposed with and how to answer such questions. Okay, I'll display the questions again on the screen, which we saw earlier for part 1. Fine, so that you understand how part 1 questions can be. Wonderful, we are back. Now comes part 2. Part 2 is a little bit different than part 1. I think you remember that earlier. We saw that part 2 is all about longer speeches rather than short. So this will be around 1 minute of preparation time, and 2 minutes of speaking. So it will be a speech kind of structure, right? You cannot stop in the middle. They'll give you a paper and a topic. What kind of topic? I'll show you in the initial part, and think about it. And most important is this 1 minute. Okay, remember that. The only thing that happens is most people get out of content for speaking for 2 minutes. They cannot speak for a long time because they don't know what to speak. Or even if they do, what happens is they start speaking in a random order. So I might start speaking about one thing, let's say the first point in my speech, and jump to any other point, let's say fifth point, which is supposed to be making good speech, but fifth point here. And then I jump to the second point, which is supposed to be like this, and then this, and then this, and then here. So my speech should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Instead, my speech should be 1, 5, and then somewhere else. There are two problems with this kind of speech. First of all, you will not be structured. Second of all, you might miss some of the parts in the middle. Let's say, for example, describe a seminar you attended recently. What are you going to do in that case? You're going to get stuck because you started with directly the name of the seminar. How to get a lot of content and how to create a flow. These are the two problems for part 2 kinds of questions, right? The first one is how to get a lot of content, and second thing, how to create a flow. That is the fluidity in your speech, like a story, right? 2 methods, actually 3 methods that are important here. We'll see 3 of them and try to understand these. Are very important. They will help you to speak clearly and with a lot of grace. The first one is called brainstorming. Brainstorming is very simple but very powerful. Brainstorming is when you ask yourself question. What? Why? Where? When? How? All these questions, even more. With who, right? When you ask these questions, you get some answers from it. Right? For example, what was the seminar about? You write the seminar's name or the seminar's, whatever it was about. Why was the seminar being organized? Or why did you go there in the first place? Is why. Where was the seminar organized? When was it organized? How was the seminar overall? And with whom did you go? These kind of questions might be in your brain, but they might not come until you don't write them. So please go into a question that is given a preparation sheet for 1 minute time. Write these questions quickly and get the answers. Once you get the answers here, what comes next is called noun and adjective method. Now, what does it mean by that? Noun adjective method says that once we have done this, all this why and when, we'll get some nouns. For example, the person name, you, with whom did you go, the place which had this seminar organized, and the name of the seminar itself, the technology or whatever the topic was in seminar, the vehicle with which you go for the seminar, every noun. And now in the case of adjective, you keep drawing arrows and think of all the adjectives connected to the noun. For example, what was the person like? What was the place like? Topic was good or bad or long or whatever, short. Seminar, where was it conducted, or place, so stuff like that. So you keep adding adjective to the noun. Once you have that, an earlier part, I know it's a lot of stuff, it will take a lot of practice to finish this within 1 minute. Now you have one more thing remaining. This was all getting content. Now remaining was a method to create a flow. This method was created by me after a long research, and this is called a timeline method to create a flow. Timeline method says like this: if you have a timeline where you can set your content in order to speak in a flow, where first one comes is called concept. Second one, don't worry, I'll explain everything. It's called planning. Third one is called the thing. And the fourth one is called feelings or your feedback. Right. The first one, concept. Why did you go there in the first place? You have to give reasons. For example, describe a picnic you have been, and instead of giving the name of the picnic which should be coming here, you start from here. Or it has been like 2 months I didn't go out, and because of my work I was getting bored to hell and I needed that change. So I decided to go on picnic with my family. Done. Planning is how did you do that? That means we started early in the morning, it was far away, and hence we have to get a lot of packaging done one night before that. It took us around 3 hours, and on the way we did this and that. Not yet the thing. You're not describing the picnic yet, but you're connecting all the stuff with the main thing. Here you describe what you did in the picnic. So what did you do in that picnic? How was the picnic like? And everything you describe in here. And finally comes, how do you feel? Right? How do you feel about the picnic? Would you recommend others to go to that place? I'm not saying always positive. You can say negative, like, I didn't like that place. That was a wastage of money. Or it was amazing. I would recommend anyone to go there. Okay, so this is how we make our speech in a concept. Now, how all these whys and hows and whats and how you feel come from both of these. Whatever words you got earlier, you use them. And remember, everything is recorded, but not video recorded, audio recorded. And hence, you can look into your paper and speak. Nobody can stop you in that case. Remember that. Okay. I would suggest you keep the paper always, but not look at it, because you want to have a conversation kind of speech. See, right now I'm speaking in front of the board, but I'm speaking as if I'm talking to you, because I have a lot of practice. I've been doing this a lot. So same thing you have to do. You have to practice a lot as if you're talking to one person, right? And there you will be talking to the person. There will be a person, but still some of us, when we look at the paper, we try to just try to read it out. We don't do that, okay? Just create this, draw this line, and you make these points, and you know what to speak in which flow. If you talk directly about the things, think about it, the content will be over like this. If we start from concept to plan to the thing and then feeling, it'll take a long time to get it over. One more thing that can help you to understand is your pace. Please speak a little bit slower. If you speak too fast, you need a lot of content to finish within 2 minutes, right? If you speak a little bit slow, that means you need half of the content. If your pace is half, of course. So that saves a lot of time and a lot of content. You can have the best content and speak about it. Remember, your pace is important for another reason. Your fluency. Pace can influence fluency as well. How? When I speak too fast, what happens is my brain forgets what I was talking about. And then suddenly things come into picture, because brain has to process what did you speak about. And that creates a trouble for my speech. There is fluency, lack of fluency. And nobody likes a speech with lack of fluency, right? They want a fluent speech. Wonderful. Now you understand why pace is important for 2 reasons. First of all, your content will be less required if you speak slowly or normally. Second thing, your fluency won't be in trouble, because you're speaking slow, you can think at that time. If you're speaking too fast, please lower the speed. And how do you know this is going bad? Please record your voice. This will help you a lot. Trust me. I have seen many people doing that, and I have done myself, and it did help me. Like, I thought I'm speaking pretty well, but no, I was pretty bad. And some people who feel they're pretty bad, but when they record, they say, this is good. I thought I'm really bad in speaking. I know we all hate our voices, but come on, give it a try. You will understand a lot of stuff about yourself. So using techniques and practicing a lot will be also things. So I might give you 10% of support, but 90% of things has to be done by you. Okay, 90% will be done by you. 10% I'm giving you just a push and techniques that are required in speaking, and all the structure that is required in IELTS. Without your 90% support, you cannot score well. Period. No other reason for people to get less score is this. They might get good teacher, the 10% support, but then sometimes teachers are pushing, so they reach you, make you reach here. Sometimes people are not even reaching here, so how can they reach here? Please start working now. Set at least 1 hour in a day to start working on your speech, on your English, on the structure of IELTS. Without that, you cannot score. I hope you're taking notes while watching these videos. If not, watch these videos within 5 slots. Watch it again and again, or watch it slowly, like 15 minutes, 20 minutes a day, and then take notes and stop from there and come next day and start from there. Set a schedule that I'll be watching this from here to here this tomorrow. I'll be putting timestamps below in the description so that I can tell you which part is starting with which part. For example, if you click on the timestamp, you'll be starting with part 1, timestamp part 2. So that was the end of part 2. Okay, we'll start with part 3. Part 3 is, in my opinion, is very easy actually. Part 3 is very similar to part 1. The only thing is, it's not about you. It's about general public. Second thing is it should be a little bit longer, a little bit more descriptive rather than normal stuff about you. Okay, because the question is something like this. In part 1 could be, what is weather like in your country? And here, how do people feel about the weather? Right? How people are influencing their behavior by weather. So it's about people, it's general. So that is why part 3 is different. And second thing, it's about the card or the task you have been received in part 2. That's the major difference in part 1 and part 3. But of course, it's a conversation again. Similarly, what we see in part 1. So you have to converse with the person who is going through it. Remember this thing, okay? This is the only difference we have. Now I'm gonna show you the examples which I've shown you earlier in part 3 because there's not much to speak. You can also have this details, reasons, and past or future connected in your answer again, but past or future of everyone, not just you, so that you can understand how it is being organized. But I'll show you some examples on the screen so that you, and I'll answer them as well for you so that you understand how they are being answered, right? Let me just show you now. Wonderful, and we are back. Now we will understand a few things here and there that you have to work on. The first thing that you have to work on is your vocabulary. Why vocabulary? Because remember the 3 things that you have to understand: the quality of the vocabulary, the synonyms, and the appropriate uses. All of the things we will see in the video separately. You have to work on your grammar because I know most of us are weak in grammar. So various things, the range, the accuracy, and apart from that, what part is required. So we don't have to study a whole grammar for that. There are some certain parts which are important for us. Without that, we cannot score well. So that also we will see. And finally, most importantly, the structure of IELTS. Without understanding the criteria, we cannot score well in IELTS. These 2 things, structure, criteria, vocabulary, and grammar, these 4 things will help you to score pretty well. And if you have a fear, it is in the middle, because nobody can change that. The only person who can change your fear is you. Okay? And this by a simple thing called practice. Go out, talk to people, meet new people, or ask your family to help you. Open up. I know there's something called being shy, or something. There's a fear of complex, superiority or inferiority complex. Could be anything. So what I want you to do is get over it, because your target is the bands that you need, and connect everything with your motive or your feelings for certain. I know you're not working hard for money or bands. You're working hard for one thing. That one thing are emotions. Your emotions are important. These things are very powerful. For example, you want to go abroad so that you can have a better life with your partner, or you want to go abroad because you are a person who's not liking here. So keep that powerful. Keep that in your mind when you're practicing. You'll practice even harder. Okay? What I want you to do is keep that in mind while studying. That will help you a lot getting out of the fear. But of course, some technicality has to be, first of all, vocabulary, grammar, structure, and the criteria. 4 of the things will help you understand the structure, or let's say the mechanical part. That is, we cannot ignore them. This thing has to be emotional, connected, but these things are target based. We have to finish this much and that much. 2 things I'll cover in the videos, 2 things I already covered in this video. These 2 will be separate videos. Okay, so stay connected to the channel. I'm not the person who is saying, oh, please subscribe and all those stuff. This is just for your benefit. I'm not getting anything from this, literally. I'm not gonna ever start advertisement. What I'm doing here is providing you with the help. I have gone through stuff, but I have not seen very few teachers who understand all the stuff and give you for free, or even give you. They're like, whatever, they might read from somewhere. What I want you to do is grasp everything and get the band you want and do what you want in your future, that is going abroad, right? So please start practicing from today your speaking. If you want, you can write a mail to me from the about page of this channel. Just write a mail, what fears you have, what problems you have, any questions you have, and if anything apart from that, please write in the comment section. If I like your comment, I'll do one thing, I'll quickly reply that, and if the comment is very powerful or which require a lot of help, I might make a video on that comment itself, that how can we solve that problem. So please comment whatever doubt you have. That will help you and me understanding what I can change later. Okay, for now, thank you for watching, and please stay connected to the IELTS until and unless you clear it. Good luck, happy studying. Bye bye.